A lot's been going on with the pandemic, masking advice changing, people having questions about if they need to get vaccinated based on whether they've been sick before, and all of that. Things are moving fast as the case counts go up. So we want to just go over a few of the facts and give people some information about what is actually going on. But first, we're gonna touch base with some slides that have come out from the CDC that have been generating a lot of conversation today, saying things such as the Delta variant of the coronavirus appears to cause more severe illness than earlier variants and spreads as easily as chickenpox. They say that the war has changed. I read another way it was put was that it's now in at least 132 countries. It's already the dominant form of the disease in the US. It's more transmissible than the common cold, the 1918 Spanish flu, smallpox, Ebola, MERS, and SARS, and only measles appears to spread faster. So that's all scary, obviously. And if you read the rest of the slides, there's a similar sort of tone. It has an urgent note revealing that the agency knows it must revamp its public messaging to emphasize vaccination as the best defense against a variant so contagious that it acts almost like a different novel virus, leaping from target to target more swiftly than Ebola or the common cold. So that said, that's all scary, but there is some good news. So that has to do with the continued effectiveness of the vaccines against the variants we've experienced so far, including the Delta variant. You might have even been hearing a little bit about the Lambda variant. The vaccines are apparently still good against that. And so let's give you some of the evidence. Only about 150 of the more than 18,000 COVID-19 deaths back in the month of May were in fully vaccinated people. That's nationally. If you look at an individual state, for instance, so Texas is one of the 3 or 4 states right now in the US generating the most COVID cases on a daily basis. Of the 8,787 people who have died in Texas due to COVID-19 since early February, at least 43 were fully vaccinated. So that does demonstrate that you can still get COVID, you can at low rates go to the hospital, and some have even died, but that is a very small number of the nearly 9,000 who have died in that one state since February. So all of this goes to the continued efficacy of the vaccines, but we should also probably acknowledge for a moment that if you have, for instance, 18,000 COVID-19 deaths in May and only 150 of them were in fully vaccinated people, one immediately wonders how many might have died if we were just all vaccinated, and presumably it would be very few people. Even some of those who were vaccinated that month might not have died because there would be less COVID going around to produce the relatively rare but still existent breakthrough cases. So it's bad. It's maybe even worse than we thought a month ago, the Delta variant, but the vaccine remains very effective. It still does produce not 100% protection, but a very high level of protection. So that is certainly some consolation.
John, where did you say the 8,700 deaths were from?
That was Texas since early February.
Okay, got you. Because there's similar numbers in different states, right? So first of all, let's acknowledge a couple of things. Number one, if you're vaccinated, because of the Delta variant, now you are more likely to get it than we had previously imagined. It's just a fact. And as I read all the statistics and facts that John is referring to, I got more and more depressed because the vaccine is supposed to do 2 things. One is prevent you from getting it, 2, make it less severe when you do get it, right? Actually, to be fair, 3 things, and the third thing is the most important one here, which is it was supposed to reduce the viral load so that even if you got it, if you passed it on to someone else, i.e. someone who is not vaccinated, right, that it would have a lower effect. So on that third one, no, the viral load now for the Delta variant is pretty high even if you're vaccinated. Now you don't get very sick, right? You don't get hospitalized or die. I'm gonna give you some numbers about that.
At nearly the same rates.
At nearly the same rate. I'm gonna give you numbers on who does, right? But your ability to pass it on to non-vaccinated people and vaccinated people, unfortunately, is much higher than expected. And so, damn it. Like, so for example, you got kids. Now, kids are usually better off. They usually have very mild cases, etc. But is it more likely for a vaccinated person to pass it on to their kids now? Yes, it's definitely more likely than we suspected earlier because of the Delta variant and the new studies coming out. If someone is immunocompromised, are you more likely to pass it on to them even if you're vaccinated? Yes. So now that there's a second problem with that, which is that we were nearly at a point where we're gonna say, right wingers, we're all vaccinated, you're not, your problem, not our problem, good luck to you. It's called freedom, look into it, it's also called death. But that's not our choice, we try to help you 1,000 times, right? But now, if you can spread it to people who have immunocompromised systems, or you can spread it to non-vaccinated people, damn it, then we gotta go back to wearing masks indoors, and they're right with their guidance, etc., right? Now, and in terms of you being able to get the disease if you're vaccinated, yes, now the chances are higher. They're not overwhelming, right? The vaccine still does protect you from the disease, but yes, it's more likely than we previously imagined. Now, the one thing that hasn't changed is you're very unlikely to get hospitalized or die if you have the vaccine. And so let me give you a sense of Italy. John, I don't know if you've got the numbers later, but over 99% of the people who died in Italy since February are unvaccinated, and so again, that goes to the same point here. But of the people who died in Italy, on average, their age was 88.6 years old. Or the ones that died if vaccinated, okay, if vaccinated, 88.6 years old, okay, and had on average about 5 other comorbidities that created problems for them, right? So when you take that into account, wait, if you're not around 88, 89 years old and you don't have 5 other problems, you're far, far, far less likely to die if you're vaccinated. So that is very reassuring on hospitalizations and deaths. But now finally, to come back around to the unvaccinated here in America, that means in Texas, in the period of time that John gave you, 8,744 people died because they didn't get vaccinated, period. They would not have died if they had gotten vaccinated, but they did because they didn't get vaccinated because they listened to right-wing demagogues. I think that some, not all, a lot of Republican governors are still being knuckleheads because they want to run for president and they want to lay claim to being the dumbest Republican in the country that's more likely to get you elected in the Republican primaries. But some are not beginning to turn around in places like Oklahoma. And the reason for that is they've killed too many of their own voters. So that's 8,700 less. Well, maybe some of them are Democrats. Probably though, the overwhelming majority of that 8,744 that died were Republicans. And now there's similar numbers in Arizona, a swing state, Georgia, a swing state. And those states actually didn't swing by that much. So they're making their states more purple by doing political evolution, where Darwinism is just literally killing Republicans in this country because they're too stupid to survive. And so welcome to the new America. Moss.
Yeah, John, first of all, I wish you would have given me the statistics before I came to Texas. Thank you for waiting till I'm here to drop the bomb that this is not the place to be. Secondly, you made me look at my touring calendar, and I'm going from Texas to Florida to like all the hot spots. I'm gonna have a talk with my agents to find out if they're trying to kill me. So that's number 2. Number 3, I will tell you, every time I hear, so it was coronavirus, now it's the Delta variant. It really does sound like corporations are starting to sponsor these things. Like what's next? The Chase Bank plague. Die broke. Withdraw your money and die. So all of those, and now to go to Cenk's point, man, we had this in the bag. We were gonna get to herd immunity in the smart way, which was to just vaccinate, everybody vaccinate. I feel like we were in a class assignment with a bunch of other students, and a certain percentage of the students were in the corner just picking their noses. And I'm going, you gotta get the shots. And they're like, oh, I don't want a shot. Get the shot, I don't want the shot. So now you know what we gotta do? We gotta go to the stupid way to get to herd immunity, the Dr. Atlas way. If we remember, when he was the head of the White House leadership on the coronavirus, he goes, let's just go for herd immunity. And people were throwing out the numbers. They were like, well, that means about 3 million people gotta die before you get there. But it seems like that's where these Republicans have chosen to take us. And I'm just upset as you guys are, because as a touring comedian, I was so excited when early on in the vaccination process, we got to that point where they said, oh, you're good to go, we're headed in the right direction. I was doing shows at the clubs and just feeling secure about it. Now I'm back to being very hesitant about this. I don't know where the clubs are gonna go. And I'll be honest with you, I try to, still there's a lot of people who you see them and do the fist bump and they come up for the hug and I'm like, I'm vaccinated, but I don't know if it works. So what a horrible, horrible thing, man. Horrible way to start your weekend.
Yeah, so first of all, even more bad news for you, Maz. Florida is where the right wing had laid their claim to fame. Like, you see that? DeSantis is a genius. Why is he a genius? He did nothing. That's such a smart thing to do. He took no precautions, and Florida's in one of the best shapes, man. Yeah, you blue state guys don't know nothing, man. In Florida, we know. Just sit there and let the disease run rampant. And we got great numbers. We got great numbers. Right now, Florida, one of the worst in the country. In fact, so bad that it has 20% of all new cases of the whole country. So now, do you see the right wing coming back around and go, our bad. We were totally wrong about Florida. DeSantis is an idiot. The way that he handled it was horrible and has led to tragedy on top of tragedy in Florida. No, I put it up on social media as predicted, not by me, but one of the other posters said, they'll start blaming it on immigrants. And sure enough, later in the post, they're like, Biden put in illegal immigrants here that are diseased and dirty, and that's why it happened. What? None of that happened.
I would be okay with it if they then turned from the xenophobia to, and thus I guess we should get vaccinated, but they don't make that final step. And the misinformation that killed, let's say 7,500 Texans in the last 6 months, they're still spreading. They're not stopping. Sean Hannity dipped his toe in the water of maybe taking it seriously. They all clubbed him over the head. And yesterday, the Fox News medical advisor on air said that kids still can't get it, which isn't true. Tucker Carlson 2 days ago was saying, now we're finding out you can still get sick with the vaccine. Nobody knows why. We said in advance it had a certain rate of protection that implies that some will not be, but they're still trying to bamboozle and confuse their fans. They gave the hesitancy towards the vaccine. Now they're going to imply that if it's not 100% protection, there's no point at all. So you're going to lose out on some people getting vaccinated, and we're just going to have to watch these numbers go higher and higher and higher. Florida lost 39,000 people.
These people that don't want to get vaccinated, I understand some people have actual medical conditions. So I always say, go talk to your doctors, get the advice of people that know what they're talking about. And some people are just consider themselves way too precious. These people are like, I don't know if my body this. I go, you know what the results of coronavirus are, right?
Yep.
So for me, for example, now that they're saying you may need a booster shot or you might need another shot, you know what? I'm gonna get all the vaccines. I'm gonna change my name to vaccinated. So when you call me, be like, hey, vaccinated, what's up? I'll be like, what's up? I'm vaccinated, that's what's up. Let's keep going. Because these people are so precious about every little thing, and they're not thinking about the community. And I'm telling you, I always say this to people, I go, you're worried about, this is gonna do this to me, that's gonna do that to me, and you're gonna be walking down the street, tree's gonna fall on your head, you're gonna die from a tree on your head. And you'll be like, I was trying to protect myself from everything. Well, you can't protect yourself from everything, but you know what the coronavirus can do to you. So get vaccinated, stop being stupid, and let's see if we can maybe turn this thing around. Not gonna happen, but at least I'm trying.
Yeah, it's like saying, hey, you can't protect yourself from everything. You can't be bubble boy. That's why I don't wear a seatbelt in my car, and I don't wear a helmet when riding my motorcycle.
People say that. That's
they do say that. And you know what happens? They fly into trees and crack their skulls. Ask Ben Roethlisberger how that turns out. Or ask many dead people how that turns out. Okay, speaking of dead people, I gotta give you the national numbers. In June, we had 10,260 people die across the country just in 1 month from coronavirus. You take the 99.2% that are unvaccinated that died, and that gives you, again, that 82 that died that were vaccinated, very old, comorbidities, etc. The unvaccinated deaths, 10,178 people died in America last month because they chose not to get vaccinated. And that turned out to be a fatal mistake for over 10,000 people. In just 1 month, that's over 3 9/11s. Of people choosing their own death because of Fox News, Donald Trump, and insane right-wing ideology. And speaking of that, last thing, guys, the right wing, they're in they're in a different planet, and they think we want everybody to wear masks and we want everybody to get vaccinated because we want to control our lives. Other than trying to save your life, we couldn't care less.
Don't care.
Yeah, I mean, so you wear a mask in the middle of Oklahoma or Oregon, what difference does it make to me? I never even find out if you wore the mask or didn't wear the mask. Why would I care? Why would I possibly care, right? No, man, I might have like 0.5% less freedom, so I decided to get death instead. Give me death or give me freedom? I mean, for no reason, but you have the freedom.
It's not even a choice. That's not what freedom is about.
Nobody's making you do it. We're politely asking you to do it, and you're losing your mind over it because you apparently didn't have much of a mind to begin with.